Welcome everyone to Sysco Canada's live virtual kitchen. We're here today with a new company, not a new company, but a new show. Something that we're very excited to have on is Floating Leaf Fine Foods, and I'm going to show and share with us our guest today here in a second. But we're super. I gotta stop saying super excited, but I tend to say that all the time, so it might be my catchphrase. So, anyways, I'm going to welcome everyone to the show. So we're going to put everyone up here. There we go. Boom. Just like that. So we have Matt Ratuski.
Good morning.
R&D from Floating Leaf. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Thanks,
and we also have Francois Murphy from Humane Society, International Humane Society of Canada. Welcome, Chef.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
This is awesome. So today we're going to talk a little bit about plant-based foods and recipes, and the chef's going to cook some of those. And Matt's going to talk a little bit about Floating Leaf and what makes Floating Leaf such a great, amazing company, and what you do with the rice world and lentils and everything else. So, Matt, do you want to chat with us and tell us a little bit about Floating Leaf as our guests jump on and watch us today?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jay, thanks for having us. We appreciate the opportunity. Floating Leaf, we're a Canadian family business. My family, we started up in the wild rice industry in 1935. So we helped pioneer that business here in Canada with the First Nations. So we're very proud of our roots. And over the years, we've developed into more sourcing specialty rices and grains and pulses from Canada and from abroad. We tend to focus more as close as home as possible as we grow such wonderful things here in Canada. All the stuff we do is non-GMO, vegan. We also do natural and organic, and provide those plant-based solutions everywhere from hemp to Canadian growing quinoa, multi-grain blends, farro, lentils, beans, peas, mixes. So basically, what we're focused in on is encouraging excellent health with healthy cuisine.
That's awesome, Matt. So your products are right in line with what the trends are saying right now in the industry, right? Like you're bang on with what it is.
It couldn't be better timing. I mean, we've been doing this obviously for a long time, but now we've seen probably over the last year, things are really firing up as chefs are looking for sustainable protein options and, giving the consumers what they're looking for. They want local, they want plant-based. A lot of people are having flexitarian diets now as well. So, eating more sustainable protein.
Yeah, I have to say I'm a flexitarian and proud of it. So it is something, you see more and more diets moving this way. So
you do.
It's something that I think is definitely, I don't even say it's a trend. And I hate when people say it's a trend because I think it's actually not even a trend. It's just the way that the world is shifting. It's the way we're going to have in our diets is plant-based more and more.
Been eating this way for a very long time. And, in Canada here, we actually produce upwards of 65% of the world's lentil production is here, and pulses in general is 85% to the world. So we have all this great stuff we're growing here in Canada that's getting exported out, which is fantastic. The world needs to eat, but it's nice to know that back home here in Canada, that chefs and consumers alike and Canadians are, reaching out for products like this and learning how to cook with them.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's get into that cooking part because I think that's, I don't know if people want to listen to us back and forth all day, but let's go over to Chef. So Chef, let's start. Let's see what you're doing today.
All right. Thanks, Jay. So as Jay mentioned earlier, I work for the Humane Society of Canada, and we have a program called Forward Food. I'm one of the chefs for this program, and it's a culinary resource program. But when it comes to plant-based food, we're here to help any institutions or businesses that are interested in offering more of that. And that can be through kitchen trainings, menu development, marketing help. We've got lots of resources, and our program is free. So we're going to do some of the recipes that I've developed for this program today. We're going to start off with one of my favorites. It's a squash risotto. Okay, and we're going to be doing this with a grain called farro. Farro is an ancient grain. It's I'll give you a little preview of it. It's a really beautiful grain, and it's got a wonderful nutty flavor. So we're going to get started right away on that. I'm going to heat some oil in my pan here.
So Matt, that farro, it's been around forever, right?
Oh yeah, I mean pretty much since the beginning of time. That particular farro that chef's using is growing in Manitoba organically.
It is, eh?
Yes.
And you can use it a million different ways.
Oh, for sure you can. I mean, as chefs doing it as the star of the dish today, as a risotto, but into salads, stews, bowls, side dishes. Farro is a very, very, when you cook it, it holds up. So meaning it's not going to break down, let's say like a rice or some other grains were. So it's very hearty that way. And you can use it on multiple menu applications, easy to store. And it has a nice chewy kind of poppy texture to it.
Nice.
That's right, and that texture is really good for risotto. It's reminiscent of arborio rice, and that chewy al dente feel you want is really key to getting a nice texture in your risotto.
So, Chef, I got to ask you this question, and I know everyone's going to be like, "Oh my God," but al dente is so important in restaurants. Would you say cooking things to an al dente level is important, and why is that?
I absolutely would. It's a great way to finish any sort of thing. So when it comes to pasta or grains, al dente is a really good benchmark, because if you go too far above it, overcooked grains or pastas get soft and soggy, and the texture just doesn't work. The dish loses a lot of its potency. Now, what's really great about farro here is we're going to be roasting it. We're going to dry roast it first, and it's going to give off that nutty flavor that we were talking about. When you hear it start to crackle, that's when it's ready, and we're going to start pouring in our broth for the risotto.
That's awesome. So you have to listen to it.
Yeah, very
awesome. So Matt, do you see this on a lot of menus nowadays, or is this that thing that people are shifting to?
Yeah, no, farro actually it's seen its resurgence for sure. I'm going to say probably over the last 6 months, you're seeing it pop up on mainstream chain menus across Canada as well. And you know what that ties into is obviously it's healthy, it's sustainably grown, it's a wonderful taste, like Chef's saying there. It has a nice nutty flavor and texture to it as well.
Yeah, I think that nutty flavor is unique, right?
The flavor here is almost ready. So I prepared this mix a little bit earlier. But when it comes to plant-based cooking, whenever we want to replace a cheesy flavor, which is key to risotto, we're using nutritional yeast. If you're not familiar with this is a food byproduct, but it's really loaded in all sorts of great nutrients like vitamin B12, and it's got a fermented quality to it. Don't be fooled by the name. Even though it's called yeast, it's not an active yeast. So you don't have to be concerned about any sort of fermentation with it. We're really just using it for the cheesy flavor. So once your farro is nice and cooked and you've got that al dente flavor, you're going to mix in the nutritional yeast, slowly adding more and more broth. And we're going to finish it off.
That's the chicken broth?
No, this is vegetable broth.
I was joking.
I mixed in a bit of white wine with my vegetable broth.
Nice.
You like that, Matt? I was just making sure we're on our plant-based.
Yeah, keeping everybody on the toes, Jay.
I was keeping everyone on the toes. It's important.
Yeah. With farro as well, when you were talking about popularity, the rise in the popularity of the Mediterranean diet as being a very healthy diet, farro is huge, right? Like Chef had said, in Italian cooking and across the whole Mediterranean. So, you know, people know if something's good for them. Now they're reaching out and put it in their mouths, which is great.
Hey, we have a question here, Matt, that is this like the new quinoa?
Is farro like the new quinoa?
Yeah.
You know what? It's definitely on the rise. Will it see a day like quinoa's had? Personally, I don't think so. It takes a lot longer to cook farro, and I think there's a lot of convenience that comes with quinoa, and quinoa obviously being a complete protein. But farro is gaining. I mean, you can use it in multiple applications, like Chef said. I mean, you put in farro into a salad as well. It's just a beautiful, beautiful product.
Well, you can add it into a salad, eh?
Oh yeah.
I'm seeing more of that though. I'm seeing more of these grains and lentils and flaxseed and everything else being put into salads now.
Yeah. Well, it is summer.
Here it is, the finished product. The farro is nicely seasoned with that nutritional yeast, and I've garnished it with some wild mushrooms, a few sage leaves, and pumpkin seeds. So what we have here is a dish that's really got a lot of classic Canadian woodland flavors to it. You know, you've got the woody mushrooms, The farro has the nutty smell along with the ruby flavor of the squash. This is really tasty and a really great version of a classic dish.
Love it.
That looks amazing, chef.
It does. It looks awesome. And that is something that I think when you look at people doing bowls, and bowls are so big nowadays, right, on menus, and you see them everywhere. Matt, your products must go in bowls all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. The whole floating leaf range, whether it's multigrain blends or into a farro or just a lentil, absolutely. There's not too many restaurants out there right now that aren't carrying a bowl. There's restaurants that are solely doing bowls, and it's because it's functional food. Basically, on a bowl, which is fantastic, is you have your base, which is your grains or your pulses, and then on top, it's whatever you want to put. I mean, you get into your avocados, your cherry tomatoes, seeds, and such.
Yeah.
So basically, whatever you have in your fridge and you want to use up and in a restaurant, is you get them on top of that bowl and do up a nice dressing, and you're off to the races.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. Really, it really is. And we actually talked about yesterday breakfast bowls and how they're going to transition, and not just traditional eggs and a protein, but really traditional using grains and different things and lentils and stuff that you carry inside on top of breakfast, on top of eggs and different things like that, just to add that nutritional value to it.
Yeah, that for sure. Like you're seeing that with buckwheat. Buckwheat is on the rise as well with that. So,
Okay, Chef, what do you got next?
Next up, we have a Bolognese sauce, and we're going to be making it with black beluga lentils. These are really great lentils. They're loaded with proteins and fibers and also calcium, iron, all sorts of great things. It's a really great substitute for what would normally be meat. A classic Bolognese recipe.
Are they black? Are they black? Or are they like a purple?
They're black. Any shade of purple there is slightly deceiving from the camera, but you'll notice the texture, the size, and the color. It's all very reminiscent of meat. And so when you're dealing with the substitution recipe, this is really great. So in a tomato sauce, these will blend in perfectly, and you'll get a really hearty tomato sauce that's really nutritious. So we're going to start it the way we do most tomato sauces, and that's some onions and garlic. And then we're going to move on to the beluga lentils. The cook time is actually quite similar. So you get a pot of hot water. Your dry lentils will cook in a similar time to the tomato sauce, and you can put it all together at the end and have a great bolognese.
So how long on the lentils, Chef, would you say, cook time?
For this recipe, I'm going to cook them just over 20 minutes.
Okay.
The sauce now.
Matt, on lentils and stuff like that, let's talk a little about lentils. So what's happening in that world? Because that's just exploded too over the last 5 years.
It completely has, and that's lentils, because they're so sustainable. We grow tons of them here. As I said before, 65% of the world's lentils are growing here, and that's due actually primarily in Saskatchewan, where I am right now, and that's due to the soil and the climate that we have here is ideal for that. Lentils as well, because as Chef said, they're so high in protein and vitamins, and they have that nice earthy flavor. You can use them in an array of dishes. From what Chef's doing today as a meat substitute into salads is again, like we had said, people obviously making curries. The interesting thing about the black beluga lentil, which is also referred to is the caviar of the prairies, because it resembles that of a beluga caviar egg with that dark color like you saw, is when you're cooking that particular lentil, they will hold their shape. So there's other flat lentils that'll break down and turn into more of a sauce, but a beluga lentil or a French lentil, speckled lentil, green one, they will hold their shape. So wonderful presentations, especially with that black on the beluga onto a plate, like we'll see from Chef.
Well, I think just by itself, it's so impressive without being put into a sauce. It's such a beautiful product.
Yeah, no, they're gorgeous for sure.
So Chef, what are you doing there?
Now, the bolognese sauce typically has a lot of other ingredients. Today we're using mushrooms. I've added the Italian seasoning. And for a little kick, we're going to be using some chili flakes. I've got here Anaheim peppers, which have really nice low heat to them. And so we're going to sweat out the mushrooms, and once they've dried up a little, then I'll add the tomato paste, and we'll let it simmer for a little while.
So Matt, is lentils, like how many varieties is there? There's gotta be a
Oh, you know what, Jade? There's several varieties. The most common is a green flat or a red flat that you see lots. And then when you get into more of the specialty, like I said, the French green speckled lentils and the black belugas, that's where when you get into presenting on a plate, you want to kick it up a notch, as you could say, on your presentation, and really wow your guests. And the other thing to note here actually is that obviously, you know, lentils and pulses and rices are extremely cost friendly when you're designing a menu and multiple applications. So if you're looking to produce something that is extremely healthy, beautiful presentation at a really nice food cost, you might want to explore them.
Oh, absolutely. So, Chef, whatever you're creating, it's beautiful. I can tell already. That is awesome. So, what's that?
These are the beluga lentils that were cooked an hour ago, and I'm going to be adding them into the sauce. Like Matt said, they hold their shape really well. And I cooked about 3 minutes to keep them slightly al dente again.
I think that's also, I think more and more that you want to see the ingredients in your food, right? Like instead of it becoming mush, I guess, in a sense. Beautiful.
Right. This is what you're left with. It's a nice tomato sauce with nice lentils in them.
Oh, beautiful.
And you can serve it very simply, with garnished with parsley. This is a really nice, really hearty sauce. So this is really filling.
Yeah, that looks fantastic. Wow.
Well, you know what the thing on that too, Matt, is just the dollar amount. I believe you could get more out of that dish. And by adding that, which is at least an expensive product than a protein, on top of that, you're adding something unique, and you're getting that different texture with every bite. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and the fact that it grows right here in Canada. I mean, locally produced food and farm grains and pulses and stuff is becoming so important in the world we're living in today. Right, supporting each other, sourcing local and closer to home means a lot to the consumers as well.
Yeah, I would say you see that more and more in menus, and I think it's important as that generation wants to know where their food comes from.
They do. You can trace it all the way back at Floating Leaf from our grains and rices. We can trace them right back to the farmers. We really, wherever we can, we like to focus in and build relationships with our farmers and the First Nations, obviously up in Northern Canada.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys been around since 1930, so you know everything about lentils and rice.
Yeah, we definitely know quite a bit. It's been passed down from generation to generation.
That's awesome. So, Chef, what's next?
Our next dish is one of my favorite snacks. We're going to be roasting cauliflower, and we're going to do it with a nice crunchy batter. So, for this batter, we're going to be doing a similar technique to a classic egg wash. We're going to start with cauliflower florets, and we're going to be tossing them in flour. But at the next step, we're going to be coating them with a plant-based milk. So this is an egg wash substitute, and in plant-based cooking, you can really do all sorts of different things for your egg wash. It can be any non-dairy milk, soy, cashew, almond. It can be olive oil. It can be all sorts of mixes of thickening agents like maple syrup or agar-agar, ground flax seeds. You've got a lot of options. We're going to keep it fairly simple today. I'm going to add soy milk. And when you're roasting cauliflower, one of the key things in the recipe is always to go get some acidity, a bit of vinegar, in this case lemon juice. And because my egg wash happens to be plant-based milk, I can just add a tablespoon of lemon right into it, and that's going to add a wonderful little flavor into our batter. So the cauliflower florets are nice and coated in flour, and they're going to go into the wash. And then we're going to move on to our batter, which is going to be a mix of hemp seeds and panko flour. The hemp seeds are going to be a key ingredient here. They're really nutritious. They've got a great crunchiness, and they actually have a little oily quality to it, right? Hemp seeds are really, really rich in fatty acids. They've got omega-3s, omega-6s. So it's going to add a real nice depth to the crunchy batter that we're doing here.
You know, Matt, I got to throw this out here while Chef's cooking, but just watch. There's something about watching a chef cook that is just relaxing and also
It
awesome to watch.
makes you hungry, Jay?
Yeah, it does. Yes, it does. But it's just something that, when you look at our industry and the impact of what we've lived with, just watching a chef cook and stuff like that, man, do I miss it. And it's awesome. It's just awesome watching chef cook.
It's an art. It's an art form for sure.
Well, it's just you listen and the passion, and chef's got so much passion here with what he's doing. I love it. I miss it. We got to go out and support our restaurants and eat plant-based foods.
Absolutely. As they're opening back up, we need to get out there for sure.
Yeah, like it's just awesome. I hope everyone that's watching today is seeing that, right? So Matt, let's talk a little bit about hemp seeds. We got people saying that they put it in their breakfast. We had Cindy tell us that she puts it in her yogurt for breakfast all the time. I've never seen it on cauliflower, so chef, this is a first. But I actually did yesterday on our test run. I went and did it right after for lunch. So he influenced me on this. But as he's working on that, Matt, let's talk a little bit about hemp.
For sure. So this hemp is grown in Manitoba. So that's where our facility, Floating Leaf, is based at, just outside of Winnipeg. So it's super close to home. Nice thing about hemp is obviously it's sustainable again. You don't have to use, when you're growing hemp, which is kind of interesting, many herbicides or pesticides because of the root structure of the plant. So basically, it grows so successfully that you don't need to load on anything, to help it out, basically, which is, I found very, very interesting. Hemp is also a complete plant-based protein. So it has all of the essential amino acids in it. So one of the things that I like to think about, we're here, add it to a breakfast smoothie, is we're seeing it pop up. Like chef is coating cauliflower with it. You can use it on, simple to use because it's ready to go on top of a salad. You often hear, in restaurants, you'd always see, hey, well, here's a Caesar salad and add your protein, whether that's a shrimp or salmon or whatever that may be. But where we see it going is adding a complete plant protein to a salad. So add some hemp parts onto a salad, 3 grams, and that's where you will get your protein from. You also see chefs using them in baking, but also making dips and sauces and spreads, like a hemp pesto, for instance. So yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful food.
Yeah, I use it as well, but it's great that we have people viewing to mention and put it on yogurt. Absolutely, yogurt everywhere. But on cauliflower, let's see, chef. This is awesome.
On cauliflower, they add a really nice little speckled tint to the cauliflower. Now, these are going to go in the oven at 350 for 15 to 20 minutes. You don't want to overcook them because cauliflower will lose that juiciness. What you really want is a nice crispy exterior with a bit of juiciness inside. When it comes out, you'll see it'll keep this beautiful, crispy, and speckled texture. You can serve it with all sorts of different dips. I've got here a Tahini Maple Dip, which is a really nice, sweet, savory balance for the cauliflower.
Okay, Tahini Maple Dip. Was that made from scratch, chef?
It's maple syrup from the maple tree right out here.
Okay,
and this is one of my favorite snacks. And this is one of these snacks that you can just keep eating. It's bottomless.
Yeah, that's awesome. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. What a cost effective too, right? When you consider an appetizer or starter for a restaurant is moving to that avenue. What a brilliant idea.
Yeah. And you see the rise of cauliflower. I mean, in food service and in retail now. I mean, you got cauliflower pastas and such, cauliflower rice, for instance. Yeah, it's definitely a vegetable that's becoming a hero.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it is something that, we see broccoli, we see cauliflower. By adding, I'm just blown away by adding hemp seeds to that. I am definitely blown away by just that. Because when you think about it, it makes sense, right? The texture, the taste, the flavor, what it does to the cauliflower, that if you don't add something like that, you're not going to get that additional flavor profile, which is amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Chef, are you enjoying that?
I am enjoying this so much. This is
pass it around, Chef.
Pass it around with all of you. You should all go make this right after the show. It's delicious.
Awesome. So Matt, let's just chat up here. Thanks again, Chef. And Matt, on floating leaf, we're gonna have you back with Chef again to do some more recipes and things like that.
We look forward to it. It's nice to work with Chef and be kind of team up with the Humane Society. It's super important to us at Floating Leaf as well.
Yeah, it's something that we're super excited to have and to partner as well with, and super excited to have Chef on the show today and to be able to show those recipes and stuff like that. And yourself, Matt, with the knowledge since 1932, Matt's been around. He's lived and breathed this his whole life.
Yeah,
it's outstanding. So thanks again. And for everyone else, we're going to bring more shows like this. And thanks again, Chef. I just want to say shout out to you as well. Awesome ideas, as always.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
Kitchen too. Love the kitchen, spider plant and all. We are going to get you a canoe though for that show.
I'll work on that.
Yeah, we'll work on that. But thanks again, Matt, and shout out to Floating Leaf Fine Foods. Now, just wait before we go. We got to say where ideas and we want, they can go to your website, which is what, Matt?
Yes, eatwildrice.ca. Yeah, absolutely. There's some recipes on there. You can see an assortment of our products. And we definitely have the plant-based solutions that the customers and chefs are looking for.
Excellent. And we hope to see Floating Leaf products on all restaurant menus across Canada. And,
me too.
And Matt as well. So once again, thanks everyone for being on our show today. And we will bring you more shows. We have another one later on today that we have. And we're going to bring more and more of these great ideas to you throughout the week and months ahead, and probably till we can't do it anymore is when I think. I don't think we're ever going to stop. So thanks again, everyone. Have a great yesterday. Thanks, Matt, Chef. And we'll see you later. Thank you.
Bye-bye.